Welcome to a Vanguard news video without the bullshit. Let's get started. Because DBT13 releases this Friday in Japan, Bushiroad decided to cram the remaining card reveals into one stream, including you use new cards. So spoiler warning for the 3 people who think the anime is deep in story. Villain's Chimera once per turn while on Rearguard, makes you soul charge 1 card, and it gets 5k power when it's chosen for the ability of your Almagister Vanguard. You're not seeing a typo. This is what Bushiroad's official page spelled Chimera, which makes it especially funny, because the Chimera they spelled out is actually a type of fish that's usually called a ghost shark and nothing like the deer with wings you see. Phonograph Opera Star when placed on Rearguard, lets you pay 1 counterblast if you have a grade 3 or higher Almagister Vanguard to draw a card, and while on Rearguard during your turn, she gets 5k power for every 2 critical triggers in your bind zone. Imagine binding all 8 of your critical triggers, that would be a total of 20k power. And you can even use her in Omina Gruzio if you feel like trolling. Witch of Extinguishment Fergosa when placed on Rearguard, lets you pay 1 soul blast if you have a youth Vanguard to put up to 1 revolve form card from your deck or drop zone into your soul. Then you can pay 1 soul blast that isn't a revolve form card if your soul has 3 or more revolve form cards with different names to draw a card. And while on Rearguard, she gets 5k power when your Vanguard is placed by the Revolve Dress ability. This answers my previous statement that Full Blast needs to get a card that soul charges revolve forms from your deck. But still expect your single copy of Zest to always be in your damage zone, because you were too stubborn to run at least 2 copies. Bard of Brave Instrument Kurino when placed on Rearguard from your deck, or discarded from hand during your turn, lets you add up to 1 revolve form card from your deck or drop zone if you have a youth Vanguard. Then put 1 card from your hand into your soul if you added a card with this ability. Guess running Spiral Cutie Angel is no longer an option for youth Burke if you want to get full blast online by your grade 3 right turn. Blazing Heavenly Break equipped Dragon Kamadak, while treated as an original dress, gives the outer dress an auto ability that gets 2k power for every 2 grades of your opponent's Vanguard when it attacks. It's bad enough that we kept getting these so-called anti-Griffo Gila cards for the past month. Now Bushiroad is requiring Nirvana players to do an extra step. Blazing Heavenly Spearhead equipped Dragon Nandika, when it becomes an original dress, lets you pay 1 soul blast to give the outer dress a continuous ability that makes your opponent call 2 or more cards from hand at the same time to the Guardian Circle if they wish to guard when it attacks. This card basically turns every other crossover dress units into Gero Vairina, which is another way of Bushiroad saying to get rid of your old triple rare cards so you can put the newer ones in. Blazing Heavenly / equipped Dragon Drahus when placed on Rearguard, lets you pay 1 counterblast and retiring another Rearguard if you have a Nirvana Vanguard to call up to 2 Blazing Heavenly cards from your deck or drop zone in rest position. Then draw a card if you retired a Rearguard in crossover dress state with this ability. Bushiroad really wants you to stop using your older equipped dragons, so you have to buy and collect all these newer shinier ones. Such is the fate of a main protagonist deck. Blazing Heavenly Render equipped Dragon Aparagia when placed on Rearguard that's not from your deck, lets you pay 1 soul blast and 1 discard to call up to 1 prayer dragon from your deck. And when this card becomes an original dress, draw 1 card, and this card's outer dress cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects until the end of your opponent's next turn. So on top of already having Chakrabarthi Dance Saiyan, this card gives your crossover dress unit another layer of protection. This deck is becoming a fanfic writer's wet dream. Every possible counter is also being countered as well. Blazing Holy Sword equipped Vairina can perform crossover dress on a Trickstar and 2 or more prayer dragons with different names. While on the front row Rearguard during your turn, it gets 10k power and your Nirvana Vanguard gets triple drive and 10k power if this unit is in crossover dress state. And while on Rearguard, you can pay 1 counterblast when it's in crossover dress state, then stands by your Vanguard's ability while your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or higher to stand all of your Talisman or Prayer Dragon Rearguards. Then remove all of your opponent's markers on the field and retire all of your opponent's Rearguards if this unit has 5 or more original dress. If you thought I was overreacting earlier, then this proves how much bullshit Bushiroad had to put into this one card, just so it can beat Griffo Gilavartex in the anime. This is the whole Grendezel Scissors or Monarch Alfred vs Lock mechanic all over again. So unless every other ride line gets some sort of marker eraser skill, this is just another case of main character card design bias. Finally, here are all of the secret rares for DBT13, in case you like your cards embedded with the outline of the characters that uses them. Funny how Samuel gets a secret rare, when Michiru doesn't despite both not playing any games this season. And that concludes this Vanguard news video. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if Vairina is Vanguard's version of number 86 Rangaminiad.